famous quote by elementary educator Ignacio Estrada goes like this: "If a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn." This mantra is at the heart of what it means to be a teacher, finding new and innovative ways to engage students. As a child, did you ever find yourself in a classroom struggling to understand what a teacher was trying to explain, him or her buzzing through another concept without waiting for the rest of the class to catch up? Well, this is why it's important for teachers to be patient, open-minded, and motivated. Now, I'm currently attending community college with the goal of becoming an elementary school teacher. Both my brother and my best friend teach this age range, and I've always known to some degree that I wanted to be a teacher. I also recently had the pleasure of interviewing a very passionate teacher by the name of Monique Galindo, who teaches 4th grade in a low-performing district in the San Francisco Bay Area. Through research from credible sources online to conversations with teachers and students over the years, I've come to learn what it takes to not only become a teacher, but what is required of this career. The first stop in educating young children to become familiar with their environment, their peers, and to think critically often starts through elementary school. First, I will be explaining the education required for this career. Second, I will be going over the roles and responsibilities of an elementary school teacher. Third, I will be going over some points made by Monique Galindo, who I have interviewed. And lastly, I will go over some of the reasons why I feel I want to be an elementary school teacher. To reiterate, elementary education is often the first place where children are introduced to the way the world around them works. We will now discuss the educational requirements for this career. Public school teachers need to be licensed with a teaching credential in order to secure a position. These credentials are awarded by governing bodies specific to your state, in most cases. The general requirements are mostly the same for everyone, as we're about to learn. It all depends on what schooling you've had before. Generally, your first step will be obtaining a bachelor's degree. It is ideal to obtain your bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university, but there are alternate paths to becoming a credentialed teacher if you've already completed your degree. This will generally take a minimum of 4 years, though it is possible to do it in less time. From there, you will need to complete an accredited teacher preparation program, which many people will do in tandem with their bachelor's degree. The teacher preparation program prepares the student for all steps toward gaining their credential. These programs can be a part of your college or your university or through a specific accredited service. You must first make sure that your program is a part of the Commission on Teacher Credentialing, which is the governing body on issuing credentials. It's important to make sure to seek guidance through a school counselor or someone who's been through this process already to make sure that you don't take too many missteps. It can cause the process to take a year or more longer than necessary because a lot of things you can be doing at the same time. In addition to obtaining a degree and enrolling in a teacher preparation program, one must also complete student teaching requirements. This generally includes teaching for at least 2 8-week sessions at different grade levels with supervision by a master teacher, as well as many hours observing this teacher. Now, a master teacher is one that has a minimum required amount of time under their belt, depending on the school that they work for or the district, and they help new teachers develop into competency. Now, the last step toward finishing the application for your credential is taking specific testing required by the state. For example, in the state of California, there are 3 required tests. One is the CBEST, one is the CSET, and one is the RECA. In no particular order, one is for basic teaching skills, one is for skills toward your specific teaching area. In the case of elementary school, it will be broad and have multiple areas, and one for reading instruction competency. Now that we've discussed the minimum requirements towards becoming an elementary school teacher, let's delve into the day-to-day requirements, overall responsibilities in and out of the classroom, and the general personal attributes required to be a successful teacher. A teacher is responsible for the well-being of their kids. They are supervising upwards of 30 students at a time, which can be a little overwhelming. They're doing this for several hours a day, working hard to keep them focused and engaged on the material at hand, also catering to individual needs throughout that. They are mentors, role models, and general support. And they maintain structure and organization in a variety of ways for their students to excel. Next, while every classroom has a different structure, what remains the same is the type of information being taught per grade level. A series of state-mandated tests are required in all public schools. Teachers are responsible for creating lesson plans for their students, while also adhering to pacing guidelines set out by the school. These pacing guidelines outline how much the children should have learned at a certain point so they're ready for these state-mandated tests. Otherwise, children spend the majority of their time learning math and English, and if time permits, science and then art. Now, beyond the day-to-day practices and overall responsibility of an elementary school teacher, certain personality traits are key to success. Here are the 3 P's that all teachers need, as told to me. One is patience. There will be many times a student will ask you to repeat yourself over and over again, but this is all a part of the learning process and is necessary. Number 2, perseverance. Not every day is going to be a great day. Sometimes it may seem like all the cards are stacked against you with funding for your district or resources, but pushing through and persevering is absolutely necessary for being a teacher. And 3 is positivity. As a teacher, you are one of the most impactful role models in a child's life. Maintaining positivity will help that seed grow in their minds and may help them for the rest of their lives. Even knowing the day-to-day requirements, the overall responsibilities, and personality required, there's so many that persevere with all of that in mind. I am proud to have interviewed one such person. Monique Galindo is a 4th grade teacher at Parkside Elementary in Pittsburgh, California. She studied at CSU East Bay, eventually earning her master's degree in educational technology. She has been a teacher for 4 years now, going strong, and she's fully credentialed and has received her tenure from her school as well. Even having a master's degree, Monique still can't afford to live on her own. She's currently living with a roommate and her 2 dogs. Every morning she follows the same routine with her kids, stressing the importance of structure and organization in their lives. She's a huge advocate for giving children the tools they need to succeed at an early age because, and especially in her district, most of these children don't even have computers at home, the internet, and many times even a loving household. Her school also happens to have very low test scores for mandated tests. Ms. Galindo expresses that while sure, it's important that children learn the material on these tests, not every student has the same opportunities or even comfort with the English language as many others do. She happens to work at a school where 80% of her kids are Spanish speakers. But beyond that, over 50% of her classes are first language Spanish speakers. So testing in English can be difficult for them. On top of that, the federal funding for her school is determined by how high the kids score on that test. Meaning that because of the low test scores, they're given less resources to help them catch up, on top of already being in an underprivileged situation. Now, as you can see, teaching children is not always the easiest job in the world, and some days it can be downright soul-crushing. The pay isn't the best, and depending on the district, resources can be incredibly slim. But even with all the frustrations, also come the breakthroughs and the aha moments that children have when they finally understand a concept. And to me, those moments are more important than all of the negative aspects combined. Why did I choose this career path? As I've grown older and reflected on my experiences and the experiences I've observed from those around me, I've come to see that many people learn in different ways, and every child deserves a chance at feeling capable. Regardless of their socioeconomic, physical, or mental status, we can help instill high self-esteem through education, positive role models, and being there for them when sometimes no one else is. Even knowing that the resources needed for schools to properly educate and function are not always there, and that the time taken out of a teacher's personal life is huge, I still believe that this career is important to our future generations and making an impact on humanity no matter how large or small that impact may be. Now, today we've discussed the educational requirements toward becoming credentials, the responsibilities of a teacher in and outside of the classroom, a little bit of information from an actual teacher, Monique Galindo, and a little bit of information regarding why I want to become an elementary teacher as well. Now, the first stop in educating young children to become familiar with their environment, their peers, and how to think critically is most often introduced through elementary school teaching. And as we've come to find out today, a teacher must be motivated and adaptable. And as Ignacio Estrada said best, if a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. Thank you.